Wait, so what just happened? Did the tourist really just get yelled at? What did she do? Did she even understand why she got yelled at? You wouldn't want to be like that tourist, do you? That's why, in this video, I will tell you some tips and tricks that will make your trip a whole lot easier, and things that I wish that I had known before I went to Japan. Even though I did a lot of research before I went, knowing the information that I've provided here will make life a whole lot less complicated for you and the trip less stressful for you. And before we get started, I just want to mention that for simplicity's sake, 100 yen will equal $1. Number 1. Pasmo or Suika Cards. This one is pretty simple, yet it's one of those things that will make your trip in Japan a whole lot simpler. Right, these are pretty much the train passes that you can be used on all the trains in Japan and will save you a major headache. On average, a train ride from one stop to another will cost roughly 100 yen to 300 yen. The train pass itself will cost you 500 yen, and you can get it from the machine that sells the train ticket. And right here is where you'll actually buy your Suika card or your Pasmo card, and you can actually recharge them at these stations too. So it shows you a video of them buying a ticket. So right here, actually, you can just put a whole bunch of coins in at the same time. It doesn't really matter, or you can put it in one by one, and then right here will tell you how much you currently have in there. They're buying a ticket right now. See, right here it has English. Okay, just press English, then bam, everything will be in English. The bright side is when your trip ends and the last station, you can actually exchange the train pass back for your deposit. You just go up to the train worker at your last stop and say return. It's pretty much it. Really simple. They're used to doing it, so translation shouldn't normally be an issue. Also, any money that you had on the pass will be returned to you, so don't be scared of putting more money than you actually needed. Number 2, how to use the trains. This was actually the biggest point for me and the biggest issue I had when I went to Japan. This caused me the most stress, especially during the first day there. This one will be a little bit longer since I want to be as detailed as possible. The train generally starts running at 5 a.m. up until about 11:30 depending on the rail, and each train comes by every 5 to 10 minutes. So unless you are a very precise person, don't feel that you have to rush things. It tells you when the train's gonna arrive, and the train arrives on the dot, okay? No minute more, no minute less, unless like an incident has happened. But right here you see at 15:32 and then 15:36. So the train comes really often, like I told you guys. Comes every 4 to 10 minutes depending on where it's at and if it's in a busy part. So right here, 15:32, there's a clock up there too, right? 15:32 on the dot. See, the train's here. So just take your time going to the train station, enjoy the breeze, or while waiting there, there's also vending machines, so buy yourself a drink. One of the best things about these trains is that if you accidentally miss your stop, then that's completely okay. You would do in this case is you would just take the train going in the opposite direction that you missed. So say that you are at point C heading to point B, you forgot to get off your stop at point B. So now you're currently at point A instead, so C, B, A. So you're at A right over here. So what you want to do is you just take the train from point A back to point B. The good thing out of all of this is that you don't actually get charged until you leave the station itself. It saves you money and it doesn't really penalize you as a tourist. The next point is for people that have some type of disability, such as if you're an elderly, disabled in any way, or pregnant. There is a designated section in each train cart that you can have a seat at. People are generally really nice about it, especially when seats are full. Which brings us into the next point. On some rails, there are a woman train cart only. The reason that there is even such a thing is because Japan has a past of groping culture. Because of how packed the train cars can get during peak hours. During peak hours, the train cars are so packed that you literally can hear the person next to you breathing. That's how close it is. So this next point is more about etiquette and can apply to many scenarios in Japan. And that is lining up before going into the trains themselves. Japan prides itself on being the mecca of organization. So while waiting there are usually marks on the ground to guide you where to line up. Or if you don't see anything, just line up behind people that are already there. They always line up. There are markers or lines there for most of the stations. Some stations, there is little markers. Or you just line up in front of the door, but make sure whenever you're lining up that you let the people that are coming out from the train, let them go out first before you enter. That's just regular etiquette. Now that those general points of the train are out of the way, I'm actually going to teach you how to use the trains. This was the biggest issue I had during my whole trip in Japan, and no matter how much I tried to research, there weren't any detailed like how-tos on how to use the trains. I will actually go through the steps and make it as if I were leading the trip myself, and that way you can understand my thoughts and my learning process that I had to go through during this trip. Alright guys, so here we are in Tokyo, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I already put in a location to trace out. So we have right here, so this is the current location we're at right now, Tucon 2711 Saganjaya, Setagaya City, Tokyo. And then we're gonna go to Mega Don Quixote. So, and these are the three options it gives us. Alright, and we're gonna click on this one since we're gonna be taking the trail. Okay, so then on your phone it should start highlighting a route. Just go ahead and follow that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just skip through this. So okay, and then you can see right here it says the station. Sorry, let me go back to that. Yeah, can we get a better view? Yeah, here we go. Sanganjaya Station. You'll go in there. A lot of these rails, they go underground, so we go ahead and go in there. I don't think I can go in there from right here. And I'll continue off. Alright, so right here, this is something that you really need to pay attention to. This is the main thing you need to pay attention to right here. So it will say this Sanganjaya Station, that's the entrance to it. Then Tokyo Dentoshi Line, this is the main thing you have to pay attention. So each line has its own name. So we're gonna take the Tokyo Dentoshi Line. There are many lines in there, so you just gotta be careful. Okay, and right here is a really good example of if you're not really familiar. So it tells you where all of the lines are. So right here, see? So make sure you pay attention to whatever Google Map has up. Right here, you can see it's N for the Namboku line, and right here, Z for the Hanazomo line. See, this one has a bunch of lines. This is a really good example of you being like lost easy. If you go to Shibuya Station, that's especially, it has many lines, at least like 6 or 7 lines. It branches off too. So you gotta make sure that you're going in the right direction, and you just look at the signs and just keep following the signs. And then DT, this little picture right here, this just shows you what the shortcut or the rail is. So then DT, that's where you're gonna be going, and it's gonna stop at, let's see, Ikijiri Ohashi Station. It's gonna stop there once, then once it stops there, you'll be getting off the next stop, which will be Shibuya Station. So this is the most important part in all of it, okay? If you're not looking at this, you're messing up. And then right here, local Oshiage, that's actually, this tells you what direction the train is going on. So main things to pay attention to is number 1 is this, the first one, the Tokyo Dentoshi line. That's what you want to pay attention to. Then after that, you want to look at the whatever it says right here. It's gonna say the direction. This tells you the direction right here, local Oshiage. It will say on the train. And then this isn't as important, but you still want to pay attention. This is the third thing you want to look at, and it's gonna be Ikiri Iki, Jiri, Oashi Station. Sorry about that. Yeah, but this is gonna be the one stop, and then you can get off at Shibuya Station, and then you walk all the way to Mega Donkey. Oh my god. But yeah, and I will show you a little detailed. So I'm gonna use this video as an example of what to look for. Right, so right here tells you what station and then the station number. So this part is pretty important. The Mariochi line, 90 meters. So this tells you what line it is, and then the direction. So you want to head that way the arrow is pointing. And okay, right here. So 1 and 2. This part is actually really important too. When you're looking on the map, it tells you what number. And you can't really see the words here, but it tells you what line it goes to, like, or what direction it goes to. So just make sure to pay attention to your map. It will give you a number most of the time. So 1 or 2. See, like 1 would be down in that line. Let me go back. Okay, yeah. So see right here. So Otemachi Ikebukuro. So we're at currently 17. It's highlighted right there. So 2 would go in this direction, and then 1 Ginza Shinjuku Ukikubo. It would go in, 1 would go in this direction of the rail. So 1 goes in this direction, 2 goes in that direction. So make sure that you're paying attention to that second, okay? From what I pointed out earlier, remember, you look at this, what rail it is first, and then you look at the direction that the rail wants you to, or the map shows you to go. So 2 that way, 1 this way. All right, and then go on to this. So then whenever the train comes, you can actually see what train it is by this letter right here. So it will switch from English and Japanese. And then this is actually a door right here to prevent people from just, like, you know, jumping out. So once the train arrives, this door will open up, and then you go in. See, and inside the train there's actually digital screens. It tells you exactly where it's going next and then what station it has on that stop. So you can use that to help you. But there are some old trains or subways out there that don't have digital screens. They just have a regular map. Okay, and then see up here numbers again, remember that. And right here it shows you the exit. So this is Bancho Gate. That's gonna be the exit. Just pay attention whenever you're going in train so you can hear what stop is next. And that's pretty much Tokyo subways. If you guys have any questions regarding Tokyo subways, then just let me know down in comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them from what I know. Alright guys, and if you want more information, go ahead and visit japanvisitor.com. They have a lot of information on their website to help you on your trip, and just a lot of tourist related information. Number 3, how are people there? So people in Japan are very nice people, so don't feel afraid to ask them for help. They'll try as hard as they can to help you, but it just might be in the language that you expect it to be. One example was when I was in Japan, I had no idea how to navigate the train tunnels. The tunnels did just branch everywhere. I just went ahead, I went up to one of the train workers there, and then I just pointed to the phone and I just asked them where. And this is where the next point will greatly benefit you. Number 4, basic phrases. So when going to Japan, there are some phrases that you really have to know, which will make your trip a whole lot easier. So the first word is arigatou gozaimasu, which means thank you. Second one is onegaishimasu, which means please. Third word is sumimasen, means excuse me. And next one is hai, which means yes. That one you'll really use common. And the next one is wakarimasen, which means I don't understand. Next one is gomen nasai, which means I'm sorry. And then this one is a little bit trickier, but eigo or hanasemasu ka, which means can you speak English please, or eigo ii desu ka, which roughly translate to is English okay. These words are more for directional, so you want to learn Hidari, which means left, and Migi, which means right. So Hidari, Migi. And then you also want to learn the numbers, of course, because it really helps whenever you go into restaurants. You just let the server or whoever knows how many people there is. So let's say that you're in a party of 4 people, right? So you would say yonin. Yon is the number 4, and nin means people. So yonin or sanin, depends on how many people you have with you, but you get the idea. So make sure to learn the numbers. And the numbers generally pretty easy. So it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I'll make sure to include a whole list, a PDF file or something in the description that you guys can just get it from, or I'll just put it in the description. And then the next word is, sometimes people will try to sell you stuff or offer you something. You can say iranai, which means I don't need it. Number 5, walk on the correct side. The next point will only apply to you if you're from the States or you're from a country that it applies to. But get used to walking on the left side of the road. When you go to Japan, it is considered polite to walk on the left side of the road. If you really want to walk slow, make sure you stay on the far left side of the road. People in Japan usually walk very fast because they have jobs or other matters that they have to get to. So they normally try to pass you. So that's when you want to walk on the left side. Then, so you're walking right over here, they'll just walk past you on the right side. Or, let's see, so you're walking on the left and they'll walk past right. Yeah, pretty simple. So this also applies to escalators, especially if you're taking the train. Right after you get off the train, there's gonna be escalators that you normally go up to. So on the escalator, there's actually space for 2 people. So right here, the left side of the escalator, you wanna just stand there if you don't wanna walk past everybody. And then there's a right side where people can actually walk past you. So make sure you're not standing in the middle of the escalator. That way, like, they can't walk past you. Stand on the left, let them walk past you on the right. And the funny thing is that in Japan, there's actually some walkways where you walk on the right side. Well, not in Japan specifically, but in the trains. Like, there's some ways that will tell you to stay on the right, and sometimes it will tell you to stay on the left. I personally don't really understand that myself, but I just follow whatever the arrow tells me to. Number 6, eating while walking. One of the things that I think Japan takes very seriously is eating while walking. Yes, you heard that right, eating while walking. Come on, that's kind of weird, right? Not in Japan. So in Japan, it's actually considered very rude to eat while walking, even in locations with street food. One example is that while I was at the Tsukiji fish market, an announcer came on to actually inform everyone to not walk and eat at the same time, and that to make sure that if you bought food and you want to eat it, then just stand to the side near the place that you bought it and eat it. So I personally don't know the exact reason why, but I heard from some people that it's because that's just how the culture was, and then from other people, I personally don't know the exact reason why, but one of my speculation is that because eating food can cause crumbs and other food bits to fall and litter the ground with trash. And since Japan is a very clean and litter-free country, they don't want the grounds to be messy. So that's just what I think, but it's probably not right anyways. But if you do know the exact reason why, then comment down below why. And I'm sure that me and a bunch of other people would love to know the actual reason. Number 7, exchanging currency. So if you guys travel pretty often already, then you will already know this one. Never exchange money from whatever currency you have to Japanese yen, especially at the airport. Normally at the airport, the rates are worse off than what you would get at, say, your own bank. So my suggestion is to go exchange it at your bank, or just wait until you go into Japan and exchange it. Really up to you, but just don't do it at the airport. But make sure that if you do exchange it in Japan, that you have some exchange beforehand so you can try to get around a little bit. Number 8, sorted trash. Right, and the final and last point that I wish I had known before Japan is that Japan doesn't just take organization to a whole other level. It goes beyond that. And what I mean by that is that they actually sort out their trash. You may think something like, you mean like recycle or recyclables? No, it goes, keep going. So what I mean is that they have a pile for combustibles and non-combustibles, which means trash can be burnt or it can't be burnt. And then it breaks down a little bit further into that, and yeah, I'll include a little picture of what was listed on my Airbnb for you guys to see. Thanks for sticking around to the end, guys. So the reason why the girl was yelled at in the first place was because she was trying to throw the wooden skewer into the wrong trash bin. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any additional questions, leave it down below in the comments. I'd be glad to answer them.